Hello, 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 everyone. How's everyone doing this fine afternoon? Let's see, nice little snapback rally, nice reversal pattern in the S&P. Hey, William, remind me if I forget about NVIDIA. We'll take a look at it. Hey, Patrick, office windows open. I got my sliding door open, and dogs are running in and outside, so it's actually pretty nice here today, too. Happy Monday, Daniel. Good afternoon, Jacob. Remember to like Mike. Well, remember to like the video at least. If even if you don't like the video. Hey, Paul. All right. We got Williams is speaking now still. So I don't know if anything will pop out of his mouth that's important, but wholesale inventories came in better than prior, but a little worse than expected. Consumer inflation expectations coming in a lot higher than forecast and higher than previous. So inflation expectations by this measure are back a bit. What do we have on deck tomorrow? Red Book minor, business optimism index is a minor. I mean, I'll still pay attention to it, but it's minor. Then nothing else really during the markets, and then Harker at cash close and cash and carry, as I call them, after the close. Well, after the futures reopen. So pay attention to that if you're trading the futures in the Asian session. Uh, so that's what we'll take a look at. You can see Apple with a pretty bad hardware miss for first quarter. Google and Meta point back, but semiconductors were strong. Industrials were strong. There were some strong things in energy today. You can see that up here. Industrials, basic materials, and energy leading the charge higher. Com services and healthcare and consumer defensive were negative, slight negative in technology. Uh, Close to 70% still for the rate hike in 22 days. 22 days from now, just one day over 3 weeks from now. So it's bouncing back up during the speech. Fear and greed still solidly in greed mode. Tilray was the only thing after the close, not major at all tomorrow before the open. Be interesting to see what CarMax says from the used car markets and Albertsons from major grocery chain inflation aspect. So, but they will not be market moving really. So that's where we sit there. All right, good evening, Anissa. Hello, I'm tired from losing in every trade in this crazy market. Any advice, please? Well, are you following a strategy? You shouldn't be losing from every trade. If you're losing from every trade, then you have a strategy problem. If you don't have a strategy, then that's one of the core aspects that you should be doing. And again, what's your time frame? In this kind of market, I would be focused more so, especially for beginners, on the longer time frames. All right. And keep in mind, as I said this morning, we're still in a major consolidation pattern. Now, this is nice. We getting this nice little bounce back. I'm still watching for us to reconnect with at least 41.53 to set up a potential double top pattern. Don't know if anybody spotted the really nice double bottom triggered on this bar. You could have been traded on the 5, the 15. Again, we don't offer trading advice here. I'm just trying to teach some patterns. Again, reversals, first, second, third target hit, and then marching up into the close with sort of a buying frenzy into the close. You can see here also volume, very, very low. Very, very low volume today. So, again, snapback rally with low volume. What am I keeping an eye on tonight? Now, tonight, I'm just watching if we start breaking above Friday's high. And then 41.53, 41.62 are the key levels that I will be looking at with this snapback rally. My support area is still about 41.24. And major support now is 4,100. I remember I talked this morning about watching that 4,100 level because of the key support component. Where do we sit? We got daily cycles turning back up, which is also fantastic. Why? Because we got daily cycles and turning up, weekly cycles at the top, but not rolling over yet. So my big thing when we get to top and daily, top and weekly, and a potential topping pattern in a toppy area. That's what I'm excited about. Hello, Sterling. Hey, George. Natty Gas had some nice short covering today. Was that it for a few days, or do you think we get squeezy? I'll take a quick look. You know, this is the one thing. I don't bother with markets that, Natty Gas gets more interesting during seasonal structures and when it has solid patterns. I don't worry about moves like this. I mean, if you jump to that right now, look, it's against the rotation zone. It's now rallied back to key support. This I don't bother with even for intraday trading. And here's the thing, even above the rotation zone, you got a fair amount of stopping points. This, yeah, I mean, if it's one market that you really want to focus on, I guess you can. I don't, because there's not enough advantage in this. Against the rotation zone, even if we break, there's no clear path. Yeah, I have to be real nimble. So that's what. Yeah, you can get these kind of rallies, but I mean, was this even a great pattern? Not really. You just got some ignition. You got some momentum. So that's why. That's why I don't bother with some of this stuff. It's now we get into a seasonal structure with Natty Gas, closer to the end of summer, fall, when we have great patterns. You catch a trend, you can ride. Stuff sometimes just goes to sleep. That's why I just don't bother with it. We'll look at it because people want to look at it, and if it forms a great pattern, then great. NASDAQ also snapback rally. Again, watching above this 13,200. 13,200. Break above there, my target is 13,251, which would put it into double top territory. Then 13,300 are my two targets above there. Key major supports this 12,985 to 13,000 area. Minor support for overnight is about 13,100. Other than that, I am watching for, again, follow through to the upside. Daily cycles trying to turn up here. Also, weekly cycles at the top. The volume for the NAS. This was Friday's. But the volume for the NAS, still technically a red bar. But we've been running lower volume for a while. And these markets, the liquidity is really sort of crappy right now. Dow. Nice little hit in the rotation zone, rotation up. The Dow technically is in double top territory. Next key target for the Dow is 33,824, and then a retest of the high areas. If it breaks out, this is a great little way to use the reverse harmonics for the minor levels. Russell, still watch the Russell. We could easily come back to 1,800. That's my key level for going into tomorrow. VIX, again, every time we tried a little break up, we just come on back down. So nothing really there. DAX will be reopened again. Watching to see if this DAX on the short little term comes back up now to above 15,825, and then my key target area is about 15,857. So I'm keeping an eye on with the DAX. The notes still just basing above a key support area. You can see here, this was resistance. key support and still holding above there. But unless this triggers a double or breaks down below about 114.06, The micro yield, just the inverse. Here's your major resistance level. You can see it here. So resistance, it was support, becoming resistance, I should have said. Support, becoming resistance. 10-2s yield curve, interest trying to break back down again. That's on the weekly right there, trying to break back down. So we shall see. I want to take a quick look at the yield, the more official yield curve with the 10-2s, which did close. This is the lowest close since back in mid-March now. So this is nearly the lowest close in close to a month. Starting to break down from the horizontal channel. So I'm going to see if this really starts accelerating back down again. And the 10-3s, which got the little pop last Thursday, pausing on Fridays, heading back down. So will this retest this minus 156 area again? Remember, that's the Fed favorite one. Wall Street favorite one is the 10-2s. Fed is 10-3 month. What else? Dollar index coming to the rotation zone and bouncing back down. So the only bullish play I'm watching is back above 102.40 again, and which would be a short-term bullish potential targeting. Gonna drop this a little to about 102.80. Crude still caught in consolidation, trying to roll over, coming barely out of overbought. What's interesting now is if this does break tomorrow and close above today's high, it is an aggressive %B buy because it's with cycles at the top, but it could be a little breakout play. Other than that, if we break below still last Monday's low, watching for at least a partial gap fill. We already looked at natty gas. Gold holding the support. However, we break below today's low. I'm watching for a closer pullback to about 1975. Silver sideways base. We talked about that this morning. Even on a pullback to 24.45 is still holding the major resistance becoming support. Why can't I say that today? Copper, not much. Again, see, copper to me, there's longer term, I'm still bullish. But we need to get some kind of pattern or anything else. Otherwise, I can glance at it and say, next. 10-year on the JGBs, 10-year, still watching for this to retackle 50, and then going to watch for here. This double bottom is confirmed, but not yet triggered. Keeping an eye on that, and yes, it can technically be triggered on a 4-hour close. So going to keep an eye on that because it's confirmed. Euro, pull back in the rotation zone, still closing above the last major support level. If we do get a rotation back up and tomorrow a close above today's high, it is a %B buy and a rotation zone buy. So we'll be watching if there rolls any strength in the euro, and also pound has a %B buy and a close above today's high. So that's a couple things I'm watching. Bitcoin trying to break out to the upside. Again, I think this is going to be the last little push for the old Bitcoin, but no clear, significant topping pattern just yet. We are getting the weekly highs, overbought on the weekly, and from a couple other things I follow, we're getting to a very toppy area. Tesla, we had the little gap down and the gap fill today. Other than that, cycles are at the bottom. If we do get a break above today's high with a follow through close, it is an aggressive %B buy with the first cross the rotation zone against there. However, my key target would be on the close of Tuesday the 4th at 192.58. And would that even invalidate the massive double top pattern potential? No. SMH still has a potential double top on the table. However, if it just comes back up and tries for the 262 area, it would be a triple top again. Other than that, this was an aggressive %B buy today based off the close of Friday intraday break and then a follow-through close. I'm watching for just a follow through to at least a gap down of 257.67. Nvidia, this is going to probably rotate back up and at least in this short term probably form a triple unless it can form another weird little double flaggy pattern. So this is nearly off the table and filling the gap between Tuesday and Wednesday of last week. So on a continued bullish play, by the way, this was a %B buy above Thursday's high and a rotation buy. So watching for this to definitely push up and triple top the area. And my first target is 279.95. You're welcome, Ted. So again, the market doesn't want to roll over yet. Apple getting closer to daily cycle bottoms. If we follow through and get on a break above today's high and then on a close, it is a rotation zone and a %B buy, by the way, after coming up and topping near that harmonic area. And then I'm still leaving it here because we still have a key area up above. So we'll watch for a retest of 166.89, then 168.25 area if this can follow through tomorrow. TD Bank is I'd have to look up the short stuff on TD. I don't know if it is the most shorted. Does it have a fantastic pattern? I bet you a lot of people are playing this breakdown. This pretty big, a lot of people will view this as a huge head and shoulders that's horribly sloppy. I don't have any views on the shorts side without doing stuff, but if it does really break down below this about 55 area, you have a really quick clear path down to 43. And it is below the 200 again. All right, and the key close, what I'd be watching for on a rollover break, because this 50% level was support turning into resistance. It's an area. So about 59 to 62 is key resistance. And you have the declining rotation zone. On a rollover play, my first target though would be 53.34, and then on a close below that, look, you got the clear path move. You got a left behind gap. I'd be using the gap area of about 45.62 to 46.81 as a major target area, and then eventually down to 40.27. But I'd also have to do, but that's only once it can close below 53.34. Intel, is it starting to roll over? Intel's trading right now against its 50-week and just a little pullback to the daily rotation zone, coming out of very overbought. I would now watch for the secondary reaction. The secondary reaction to put it in a potential double top territory. Other than that, it would be trading back into major support at this point. So until it really starts, the first warning sign is it would close below 31.74, but my short-term target would be about the bottom of the rotation zone and the 200, so about 30.50 on any breakdown. Then I'd watch for a bounce play before a significant rollover because there is major support right down here. We still don't have a long, it's April. Why does it matter? It's April 2023 and we still don't have a long-term pattern. Why? Because it's the overall in consolidation. It's gone a whole bunch of nowhere. Because the market still, even though they're saying, oh, we're pricing in a recession, it's not pricing in a recession. This is not pricing in a recession based off the earnings and the earnings multiple. Overall, long term, I still have a sell signal. Waiting for a more short-term sell, or I should say a more medium-term sell signal. But long term, nothing's changed. So you don't always have to have a pattern. This is technically a pattern. It's consolidation. I have to fix that. A bunch of stuff came unlinked. All right. So that's why I'm watching in the short term to see how we react up here and get a short and potentially more possible short to then a more medium pattern once we get back to these cycles getting to the top. Even, it would be fascinating, even if we eke out a little higher high than last Tuesday, we'll also probably set up for a divergence with cycles at the top and we'll see how it plays out. Does that have to ever trigger a short pattern yet? No. Remember, the markets can stay in weird mode, especially in denial mode, a lot longer than anybody thinks. So, I mean, silver, it's, your key, if you're trading SLV, you're watching 22.50 on a closing basis, but any pullback in the rotation zone is still bullish, although 22.50 starts breaking down from this support level. It is overbought. So, and we should get, by the way, in silver and gold, it might still make one more push higher, but we could be starting to make a more substantial top. So do keep that in mind with a bigger pullback. I am prepared for that, but until right now, this is a sideways correction. By the way, if you trade SLV, the one I like better is PSLV. So just a little thing, if you like trading silver from a stock perspective, I like PSLV better because of the fully backed nature of the Sprott physical trust. So just you might want to consider that. You're welcome. All right, with that, we'll wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. If the weather's nice by you now with the spring coming in, spend some time outside and enjoy some weather. Don't sit staring at the computer all night. Enjoy some of the spring weather because we'll get still those cold downturns before everything's finally over. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.